Alright, I saw a post on the Battlefield 4 forums of someone asking if Phillips would release a way to control the Hue light system, which are the LED dimmable and RGB changeable lights, and hook those up to Battlefield. Someone else has created something that's a little bit similar to this. I don't quite recall what their general intent was. That worked with Macintosh utilizing a program called AmbiHue, or excuse me, Processing is the name of the program. And they wrote something that interfaced with a serial device. You can see here it creates a serial port so that they can do some sort of communication over it. That was a little more complicated than what we needed, but everything else here is pretty solid code. I don't have a solid understanding of all of it because frankly it worked pretty well right out of the box. The only thing I had to modify was down here they were using a Mac, so they had a shell script that used curl, which is a program not readily available installed on all Windows machines. So since I'm more comfortable with PowerShell, I just went ahead and wrote a PowerShell command, or PowerShell script. That's what this .ps1 file is here. So the only thing you'd have to change if you downloaded this was this little portion right here, assuming you're on Windows. And then the other thing you would have to edit is the actual file within that. You'll have to change it to whatever your AmbiHue's bridge IP is. And I'll go over that in perhaps later this video or in another tutorial. First, I'm just going to kind of go ahead and open up Battlefield in the test range. So I did start this running earlier. I guess I need to go ahead and restart it here. So I'm hitting play on this, and what it's doing is basically capturing the screen and getting the dominant color of the screen from what I can tell. There probably could be a little tweaking done here if you were not interested in the performance or wanted to change how it performed. I haven't dove into that. It works well enough for me, and I'm not sure how much more you could squeeze out of it. But you can see that this color right here is what I'm ending up sending to the Hue. I'm telling Hue to change my lights above me to this color. And if you notice when I hit the play button, you could probably see the tone in the webcam change a little bit. Alright, now that we've kind of covered that, hopefully Battlefield's getting ready to launch here. See, and now you can see when I've changed to something that's a little darker, it is itself going a little darker. So, multiplayer, no, where's the test range? Multiplayer, play now. Test range, alright, perfect. Loading that up. If I was adept at making YouTube videos, I would have launched this beforehand, but as it turns out, this is not really my thing. Oh shit, my headphones aren't plugged in. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and spawn in a little bird, and as you can see, it's pretty dark behind me right now. As I go up and kind of get some shots of the sea here, you can see things start to brighten up a little bit. And when I mentioned that there was room for potential tweaks, what I really meant is, man, it sure would be cool if the color temperature changed every time I fired a shot. You know, like a brief flash, got a little bit brighter. But as it turns out now, it really just turns out to kind of be almost the color of a portion of your screen, which is cool, but not as cool as I would have envisioned. So on a map like Gillian Peaks, it's very green. There's a lot of growth. When you're playing there, you'll find that the lights are just almost always green. It is kind of cool when you go into a cave or somewhere that is actually dark to have the lights dim. Overall, It's kind of gimmicky, not quite there for me, but if you wanted to test it out and play around with it, I highly suggest you do so. There should be a link to the code below, and if you have any questions, I'll drop my email address in there as well. And one final demonstration. Let's see if we can get this to crash. Alright, we'll have to go old school here. So right there is kind of a one last example. It didn't quite have the boom explosion effect you're looking for, and I think that may be partially due to the way the API works, that there's some sort of rate limiting I'm given to understand that makes it hard to change it that quickly. I change the colors that quickly and that smoothly. The other thing to take into consideration is this processing, this program, processing 2.1 here. I believe that this delay right here is responsible for how often it executes this set of code. So every 35 milliseconds or something along those lines, it's polling the screen and then sending it out. So I'm not 100% sure the interaction between this program and the Hue API, but I believe that's what this value is responsible for. And I think that without having that tweaked properly, you're not going to get that cool explosion effect where it starts out not too bright, gradually gets very, very, very bright, and then the explosion's over in 2 or 3 seconds, and it just has that kind of dim fire glow. I think it's hard to make a transition that happens that quickly. Like I said, not impossible. I just got these Phillips Hue lights probably a week or two ago, so I don't know a whole lot about it. I've just read about what others have done and have commented. So I suppose I encourage you to explore and see if maybe you can push this to the limit. And one final thought I suppose I'll leave you with here is some gentlemen at a hackathon, I believe, developed a plugin for a tank game. I don't recall what the actual game was, but when you hook directly into the game, you can get more granular information so that you would be able to know when I'm firing around, and based on that you could trigger some type of event. You could know when I'm firing a rocket, based on that change the lighting conditions. You could know when I've actually been hit by something, and based on that once again change the lighting conventions. Like I said, not sure if all that's practical. Maybe there's some young brilliant mind out there that wants to put that together, and if so, I highly encourage you to do so. So yeah, email will be below. Thank you.